In this section, we're going to focus on one of the most important building blocks of any cloud architecture: storage. AWS offers multiple storage services because not all data is the same. Some data needs to be accessed instantly. Some must be shared across servers. Some needs ultra-low latency, and some must be stored cheaply for years. Understanding which storage service to use and why is a core skill for both real-world AWS work and the Cloud Practitioner exam. Let's now talk about Amazon S3, which stands for Amazon Simple Storage Service. This is the primary object storage service in AWS and one of the most important services you need to understand for the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam. To understand Amazon S3, the first thing to remember is that it is object storage, not file storage, and not block storage. Instead of organizing data into folders or disk volumes, S3 stores data as individual objects inside buckets. Each object includes the data itself, metadata, and a unique identifier called a key. This design allows Amazon S3 to scale virtually without limits while providing extremely high durability and availability across multiple AWS facilities. Amazon S3 exists to store massive amounts of data safely and cost-effectively and make that data accessible over the network using HTTP and APIs. AWS guarantees 99.9999999% durability, often called 11 nines, which means once your data is stored in S3, the risk of data loss is extremely low. Because of this, S3 is used across almost every industry and for many different workloads. One of the most common uses of Amazon S3 is data archiving and backup. AWS provides multiple S3 storage classes designed for data that is accessed infrequently, especially through the S3 Glacier family. S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval is used when data is rarely accessed but still needs millisecond retrieval. S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval offers lower cost with retrieval times ranging from minutes to hours. S3 Glacier Deep Archive is the lowest cost option and is designed for long-term retention, with retrieval times measured in hours. Typical use cases include database backups, system snapshots, audit logs, compliance records, and long-term archival of legacy data. For exam questions that mention low cost, long retention, and infrequent access, S3 Glacier is usually the correct choice. Amazon S3 is also commonly used for static website hosting. It can host static content such as HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and images without requiring servers or operating systems. This makes S3 a simple and cost-effective solution for marketing pages, documentation sites, portfolios, or any website that does not require server-side code execution. Another major use case is content distribution and media storage. S3 is often used as the origin storage layer for videos, images, audio files, and downloadable assets. When combined with Amazon CloudFront, AWS's global content delivery network, S3 enables fast, low-latency delivery to users around the world. This is commonly used for media streaming, software downloads, and application assets for web and mobile applications. Amazon S3 also plays a central role in big data and analytics. Because it scales automatically and stores data cheaply, S3 is the preferred foundation for data lakes in AWS. Organizations use it to store raw IoT data, large telemetry datasets, and application logs. Analytics services such as Amazon Athena, Redshift Spectrum, and EMR can query data directly from S3 without moving it. If an exam question mentions analytics over large datasets or a data lake, S3 is almost always the correct storage choice. In modern cloud-native applications, S3 is frequently used as an API-driven data store. Applications can upload, retrieve, and manage objects without maintaining servers or file systems. Common examples include storing user uploads, such as documents or photos, application assets, configuration files, and shared data between microservices. For the exam, it's important to recognize when Amazon S3 is the right choice. You should choose S3 when workloads require massive scalability, extremely high durability, HTTP or API-based access, and cost optimization through lifecycle policies. However, if an application requires a traditional mounted file system, such as a Linux mount point or a Windows C drive, then S3 is not appropriate. In those cases, Amazon EBS or Amazon EFS should be used instead. As a final exam tip, if a question mentions objects, buckets, durability, backups, archives, static websites, or data lakes, Amazon S3 is almost always the correct answer. For the AWS Certified Cloud Practitioner exam, it's very important to recognize when Amazon S3 is the right storage choice and when it is not. Amazon S3 should be selected whenever a workload requires massive scalability, extremely high durability, and access over the network using HTTP or APIs. S3 is not a traditional file system. Instead, it stores data as objects inside buckets, which allows it to scale virtually without limits and remain highly cost-efficient. S3 is also ideal when cost optimization is important, because lifecycle policies can automatically move data between storage classes based on how frequently it is accessed. However, S3 is not appropriate when an application requires a mounted file system, such as a Linux mount point or a Windows C drive. In those scenarios, you would use Amazon EBS for block storage attached to EC2 instances or Amazon EFS for shared file systems. As a quick exam tip, if a question mentions objects, buckets, durability, backups, archives, static websites, or data lakes, Amazon S3 is almost always the correct answer. Amazon S3 also offers multiple storage classes designed to balance cost, performance, and availability based on how data is accessed. All S3 storage classes provide 11 nines of durability, which means your data is extremely well protected against loss. The main difference between storage classes is how often data is accessed, how quickly it can be retrieved, and how much it costs. S3 Standard is the default storage class and is designed for frequently accessed data. It offers the highest availability, very low latency, and no retrieval fees, making it ideal for websites, mobile applications, content distribution, and analytics workloads. When data is accessed less often but still needs to be available instantly, S3 Standard Infrequent Access is a better choice. It has slightly lower availability, lower storage cost, and a retrieval fee, making it well suited for backups, disaster recovery data, and older logs. S3 One Zone Infrequent Access is similar to Standard IA, but it stores data in only one availability zone. This reduces cost further, but also reduces availability, so it should only be used for data that is easily reproducible and not mission-critical, such as secondary backups. For long-term archival needs, Amazon's 3 Glacier storage classes are designed to provide the lowest possible storage cost. Glacier Instant Retrieval is used when data is rarely accessed but must still be retrieved immediately, such as medical records or media archives. Glacier Flexible Retrieval allows retrieval in minutes to hours and is commonly used for backups and long-term archives. Glacier Deep Archive is the lowest cost option and is designed for data that may be retained for years and retrieved very rarely, such as compliance records or tape replacement scenarios. Finally, S3 intelligent tiering is designed for workloads with unpredictable or changing access patterns. It automatically moves objects between access tiers based on usage, without requiring manual intervention and without charging retrieval fees when data becomes active again. This makes it a strong choice for data lakes and workloads where access frequency is difficult to predict. In summary, for the exam, remember that Amazon S3 is the object storage service used for scalable, durable, and cost-optimized storage accessed through APIs. Understanding when to choose each storage class will help you answer questions correctly and confidently. This table summarizes the key differences between Amazon S3 storage classes, and it's extremely important for the AWS exam because it helps you quickly match a workload to the correct class. The main factors you should focus on are frequency of access, availability, retrieval time, and how many availability zones the data is stored across. Starting with S3 Standard, this class is designed for frequently accessed data. It offers the highest availability at 99.99% millisecond retrieval times and stores data across 3 or more availability zones. This makes it ideal for production workloads such as websites, mobile applications, analytics, and content distribution where performance and resilience are critical. Next is S3 Standard Infrequent Access, Standard IA. This class is meant for data that is not accessed often but still needs to be retrieved immediately when required. It has slightly lower availability at 99.9%, still delivers millisecond access, and stores data across multiple availability zones. It is commonly used for backups, disaster recovery data, and older logs. S3, one zone infrequent access is similar to standard IA, but with an important difference. The data is stored in only one availability zone instead of 3 or more. This reduces costs, but also lowers availability to 99.5%. Retrieval is still in milliseconds. This class should only be used for infrequently accessed data that can be easily recreated and is not mission-critical. Moving into archival storage, S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval is designed for archival data that is rarely accessed but must still be retrieved instantly. It provides millisecond retrieval times, 99.9% availability, and stores data across multiple availability zones. A common exam trap is forgetting that Glacier does not always mean slow. This class is fast, but optimized for archive pricing. S3, Glacier Flexible Retrieval, is used for long-term archival data where retrieval speed is flexible. Retrieval times range from minutes to hours depending on whether expedited, standard, or bulk retrieval is chosen. Availability remains high at 99.9%, and data is stored across multiple availability zones. This is ideal for backups and archives that are accessed occasionally. S3 Glacier Deep Archive is the lowest cost S3 storage option and is designed for data that is almost never accessed. Retrieval times range from 12 to 48 hours, availability is 99.9%, and data is stored across multiple availability zones. This class is commonly used for compliance archives, legal records, and long-term data retention. Finally, S3 Intelligent Tiering is designed for data with unknown or changing access patterns. AWS automatically moves objects between access tiers based on usage, while maintaining millisecond retrieval times and 99.9% availability across multiple availability zones. This class is ideal when you don't want to manually manage storage classes and want automatic cost optimization. In this slide, we're comparing the different Amazon S3 storage classes and understanding when to use each one. The key idea to keep in mind is that all S3 storage classes offer the same high durability, but they differ in cost, availability, retrieval time, and resilience based on how frequently the data is accessed. Let's start with S3 Standard. This is the default storage class and it's optimized for frequently accessed data. It delivers low latency and high throughput and stores data across multiple availability zones. You should think of S3 Standard when data is accessed regularly, such as websites, mobile applications, content delivery, or analytics workloads. Next is S3 Standard Infrequent Access, often called Standard IA. This class is designed for data that is accessed less often but still needs to be available immediately when requested. Retrieval is still in milliseconds, but storage is cheaper than S3 Standard, and there is a retrieval fee. Typical use cases include backups, disaster recovery data, and older logs. Then we have S3, One Zone Infrequent Access. This class is similar to Standard IA, but the key difference is that data is stored in a single availability zone instead of multiple OZs. Because of this, it's cheaper but less resilient. This class is suitable for infrequently accessed data that can be recreated if lost, such as secondary backups or non-critical data. S3 Intelligent Tiering is designed for situations where you don't know how often the data will be accessed. AWS automatically moves objects between access tiers based on usage patterns, helping optimize costs without impacting performance. This is a great choice for data lakes or workloads with unpredictable access patterns. There's a small monitoring fee, but no retrieval fees. Now let's look at the S3 Glacier storage classes, which are used for archival data. S3 Glacier Instant Retrieval is for rarely accessed data that still needs to be retrieved immediately, in milliseconds. It's often used for medical records or media archives where fast access may occasionally be required. S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval is for archival data where retrieval time can range from minutes to hours. AWS offers different retrieval options, expedited, standard, and bulk, depending on urgency. This class is commonly used for long-term backups and archives. Finally, S3 Glacier Deep Archive is the lowest cost storage option in S3. It's designed for data that is accessed extremely, often for compliance or regulatory reasons. Retrieval takes 12 to 48 hours, making it ideal for multi-year retention and tape replacement scenarios. For the exam, remember this rule of thumb. If the question mentions frequent access, think S3 Standard. If it mentions infrequent access but fast retrieval, think Standard IA or One Zone IA. If access patterns are unknown, think Intelligent Tiering. If it mentions archives, long-term retention, or compliance, think S3, Glacier, or Glacier Deep Archive. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.